What's up, everybody? It's Texian the Gamer, and welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to be talking about what is best and what is most efficient for a 5090: undervolting and overclocking, or power limiting. So this is a pretty interesting question that I was just introduced to recently, so we're going to be running some tests on the 5090. And we're also going to be looking at just basic overclocks at stock performance. Alright, so if you guys want to take a look at my screen here on the top left, I am running the 5090 at its absolute stock setting, and I'm going to bring up MSI Afterburner here. So as you can see, actually that's not even stock, take that back. So let me apply the setting here. So this is stock setting. It's getting up to, as you can see, 600 watts. So that's running at the absolute maximum total board power, and this is the Gigabyte Aorus Master, which can go up to 600 watts. Clocks are about 2745, 2730. GPU temps are in the mid 70s, and the GPU voltage is at about 1 volt right now. Average frames per second, if I click on here, it's about 32, 31 frames per second. So this is what you get at stock performance. And if I just make sure I get my average counter going, so that's 1% low is at 31. Alright, so now you can play like this, but you are going to have a hot room. And I personally just don't feel safe running 600 watts, through the GPU with probably 570 or 80 going through the cable by itself. So we're gonna go over some options that you can do in order to make gameplay much more efficient. Alright, so first thing to note, I did go over this in a previous video about how to undervolt, but I'm just going to quickly go over it right here. So to undervolt, what you want to do, and this is the best way to undervolt, you hold shift on the curve optimizer. See, if I just clicked on here, the button might look different on your skin. Curve editor, sorry. And then you want to search for, you see where it says 800 down here, this is the voltage line and this is the clock speed line. So you go right past 800, go to 810, which is right here. Move your mouse a little bit before that and just hold shift and drag your mouse over to right past 925. 925 has been the sweet spot for me. You guys might have a little bit better silicon if you can do 900 and try to hit it at 2800 megahertz. That's great too, but I will drag this up to 2830. So it's going to do 2832, but 2830 or 2828 actually, that's where my sweet spot is. So that's 450 above its stock clocks. And then you can double click off of that, take your mouse again, drag the point right after that, so that's right after 0.925. Touch any of these dots here, bring it down, go back to MSI Afterburner, click apply, and there is your undervolt. Also, what you want to do is you want to add just simple 2000 megahertz to the RAM, and you want to apply that. So I already have this profile saved under my third setting here, so I'm just going to quickly apply that and reset my averages, 1% lows, and as you can see, we're getting the same performance as we were before, 32 frames per second. And just to go over the settings, we are running everything with DLAA and on path tracing, so everything is maxed out, and we got the critters over here, chromatic aberration, all that stuff turned off except for depth of field. Everything else is high or ultra, and again running on DLAA. So this is what you are going to see with the GPU basically running at absolute full power. So as you can see, we went down to about 530 watts or so, 525 I think I saw it, 540, and the temps also went down, and we did not lose any performance at all. So this for me is my daily driver. But what we can do right now is we can try to get the same performance with just a power limit. So I'm going to go back into Afterburner again, and this time we're just going to do a power limit, and we're going to take off the overclocks here. All right, so, and we are back at, let's see, what, 30-ish frames per second. 30, 31, and as you can see at the top here, the clocks went down quite a bit. 30 frames per second, I think we did lose quite a bit here, and voltages are running a little bit higher. It's at almost a whole volt. GPU power is at about the same as it was before. Temps are actually a little bit higher than what they were before, simply because it's running at a higher voltage level. And clocks went down because the GPU isn't able to reach its highest power target, so the GPU has to downclock in order to keep things stable. So this basically is neck and neck with the undervolt and overclock, but you're actually getting a little bit less performance. Now if we go into upscaling, let's put things, let's go DLSS balance just to get a load off of the GPU here. Actually, I'm going to go quality. Okay, so in DLSS quality, we're still getting about 530-ish watts power consumption, and getting about 58 frames per second now. Still running at about 1 volt, and the GPU temps are about 70 Celsius. Clocks are able to go up a little bit because of the lower internal resolution, but let's compare that to our undervolt and overclock setting. So that's on number 3. Gonna hit apply, and as you can see, our performance rose. So we are getting now 63 frames per second. That's a 5% bump from just limiting the power. And as you can see, the GPU voltage went down to a rock solid 0.915. It always goes a little bit lower than what you set it at in MSI Afterburner. GPU power went down to about 470, and GPU temps are able to recess as well. So we're at 68 on the GPU temp, and you can probably just hug around there for now. Clocks were able to go up a little bit as well, and this is rock solid. So I'm going to compare this also to stock, and here is our stock setting here. And as you can see, we're at the same amount of performance, and the GPU power is at 570, 569. So there's really nothing gained. GPU temps are getting higher now. It just peaked up at 77. Clocks rose up a little bit too, to 2790, whereas before it was around the 2600s. And if I try to overclock at this point here, the most I was able to get out of this card, I think, was about 200 and 2000 on the VRAM. I always just put 2000. I know it could take more, but now if I apply that, that's just the max overclock that this card will do. And now I am at 64 to 65 frames per second. GPU temps, I can hear my fan spinning higher and higher. GPU temps are in the higher 70s right now. GPU power still wants to go up into maximum, and I got 1 frame per second at an upscale. So as you can see, the winner in this competition is still going to be undervolting and overclocking. And as you can see, if you look on the screen here, I do have a power limit of 95%, and that's because sometimes in game, even if you're on the menu screen, the GPU power is going to go all the way up to the max. I don't know why it's happening. It's on a menu screen. It's not doing anything. That actually happens in Resident Evil Requiem. I have no idea why, but we're still getting the same performance as we had before. And GPU temps are now at a nice cool 67 Celsius. And what the best thing to do here as well is, what you can do is, if you have frame generation on at this level. All right, so now I'm going to put on DLSS frame generation at the quality level. I'm just going to put it at 3x just to hit my frame rate cap here, which is at 152. I'm actually going to use balance just to take a little bit more of a load off the GPU. And as you can see now, so we are at my maximum frame rate with those settings. And you know, if you compare DLAA to the balanced and frame generation 3x, the latency is still looking rock solid. We're just touching 40 milliseconds of input lag. 1% lows are looking good, average is looking good. And look at the GPU power. It's at 380, 377. GPU temp 60, 59. The clocks are able to run up a little bit higher as well. This is what you want on a 5090. You have an enthusiast card. You want to run it as efficient as possible, and you don't want to be playing games for 2-3 hours in your office, in your game room, whatever, and you got sweaty armpits and, you know, sweaty sacks and, you know, sweaty V's. So that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.